Right guys, welcome back and thanks to the another video of ours, mine and Steve's. We've obviously just come back from a weekend away at the NEC Classic and Restoration Show. Fantastic weekend, I'm sure Steve will agree. And thank you to everybody that came to see us, came to talk to us. We had some fantastic conversations with some interesting people and got another complete build off a customer there, which was brilliant. So we're pleased about that. The main question people have been asking really is, what does it cost to build a car like this? Obviously, you can build a car to anybody's budget really. A minimum you're looking at is probably 180, 190. If you want to be at the front of the grid and you want the best specification car that money can buy, you're looking now somewhere in the region of £250,000 to build a car like this one that we're building here, an Eggenberger spec car with all the Eggenberger parts, built on a brand new shell, brand new engine, everything new, as we say, about £250,000. But you can build them cheaper if you want to do it, but what's the real point? You know, if you want to win, you need to spend the money. But yeah, thanks again to everybody that came to see us. Interesting conversations. We spoke to a guy who just had a cage fitted to a car, looked around this cage that Steve's built and was really impressed with it, and basically signed up to have his cage tech now. And one of these cages fitted to his car, he was that impressed with it. Said another complete build out of it, other various jobs, sold some suspension packages for a guy that's got a car, wants to upgrade it to Eggenberger spec. So a fantastic weekend, and it's not all about the money. You know, we met a lot of guys that watch the videos, that follow our work. Great to say hello to everybody and you know, put faces to names, as it were. We've been back this week. We haven't done a great lot, but Steve's been here today, and I'll hand you over to him and he'll let you know where we've got up to now.
Right guys, back again. So as Paul said, this is midweek. So I picked these up this morning. These are the bulkhead plates that I've mentioned in one of the other videos. So that's basically for the master cylinders. So we've got front and rear master cylinders. We're doing away with the brake servo, and that basically that'll get welded into the bulkhead in place of the original servo.
Shall we show them where it's going to go, Steve?
I'll show you where that goes. Paul just lifts the bonnet for us. So yeah, that'll fit just in there, somewhere like that. And that'll get welded into the bulkhead, and obviously there'll be, on the pedal box on the inside, there'll be another plate that matches up identical, and it'll be bolted through. These are just so that I can plug it in where relevant, and that strengthens up the bulkhead, so when you press the pedal you don't get all that flexing and stuff. So yeah, that's one of the jobs I'll be on with tomorrow. And then the other job that I've actually been on with today is finishing off the cage gussets. So I've made up these, same on the other side. So what I've still got the dimple dies to put in these. We're short of a 14mm also at the minute, but we'll get that for tomorrow. And then I've also done the rear gussets. So these are not dimple dyed, obviously these are just the same as on the Bastards car. So I've put these in here, welded to the B post. A little bit of the cage done. Obviously we stripped some of the stuff out of it that was in it for the NEC. But yeah, it's definitely getting there. We think we're probably not far off finished fabrication wise by end of the week, and then we'll be cleaning it up, finishing it off, and then it'll be ready to go to the paint shop. And at that point we'll be dragging the next one in and starting it all over again. But you know, it's always good to be busy and keep the production line going.
Brilliant. Yeah, what we're doing is we've grabbed one of the other shells we've got, waiting to come in. Steve's going to start fabricating that one while this car will go off to be painted. So Steve will start the fabrication on the next shell, and then what I'll be doing is working in the new workshop on the car that's on the ramp there, which is the cam shipping car of Andy Kirkley's. So our idea is I'll be building them up in here when they come back from paint, while Steve is doing the fabrication on the next shell, and then we'll just help each other out as and when required. But that's the plan, to get a little assembly line going. As I say, we've got 2 complete builds to start, and then the third one that we've just won at the NEC. So busy times ahead.
Shall we have a quick look at this?
Yeah, we can do, yeah.
See the cage that was popping up.
This, yeah, as Steve said, this is the Bastos car, an original Texaco car, hence why it's black inside. And that car we're building, as you'll see the resemblance, is an exact copy of this car. The cage is
I noticed
exactly
a lot of people
same.
at the NEC, they were looking at the notches around the strut tops.
Oh, the thing I insisted that Steve did,
Yeah.
just because I liked them. But yeah, there you'll see them on a genuine original period built Eggenberger car, and that's what I wanted Steve to put back in for me, and he has done. But as you can see, everything on the cage is absolutely identical to this car. Steve's copied it down to the millimetre. Everything under the bonnet, as you see here, will be exactly the same on that new build car that we're doing, because obviously it is built on the last Eggenberger shell and using all the last remaining brand new Eggenberger parts. We even, as we said on one of the last videos, even went to town making sure we put exactly the same amount of bolts in the fuel fillers.
Swaged over.
Yeah, swaged over exactly
Nice,
the
that,
same.
doesn't it? It just finishes it off.
Yeah, it just looks tidy. Yeah, we're excited really now, especially work's coming in, a lot more to do, and hopefully we'll be building them to a similar spec to this car. You know, we prefer the Eggenberger cars. They were obviously the Ford Works cars, virtually unbeaten in most races. Very rare an Eggenberger car was ever beaten. So there we go.
Right guys, as Paul's already said, one of my jobs today is to fit this bulkhead plate for the front and rear master cylinders. So I've marked up the bulkhead to show what I'm going to cut out. So that's obviously the outside of the plate where it'll be welded, and I'll trim that amount out to allow clearance for the cylinders. So what I've had to do is I've marked up centre of between the holes. It's not centre of the plate because obviously, as you can see, the cylinders are offset on the plate. And then I've marked up centre of the bulkhead, and that lines through the middle of what was the original brake pedal. So I'm going to get on and basically fit that to the bulkhead, and then I'll stick it on time lapse and we'll come back and have a look when it's in. Alright guys, that's the bulkhead cut out, so I can start looking at cleaning it up now. What we use is these Roll-Lock strip and clean wheels. So they're not cheap, so if you're the type of person who gets up in the morning and has a quick walk around your bed to make sure you haven't lost any sleep, probably not for you. But yeah, we use these. They are very, very good. What they do is they'll only take off the paint and they don't thin the material out. So when you're working on something that's around 1 millimetre thick anyway, you don't want to be thinning that down. Makes it difficult to weld, and if you've got inconsistent thickness, you'll end up blowing holes through it and it'll just look a mess. So yeah, that's something that we use. We found them to be pretty good, and I can manage to persuade Paul to buy them. So
Fucking expensive though.
We'll see how we get on. Right fellas, that's it all welded in. So I ended up pulling the top out slightly, just so I could get a better angle on the pots. But basically, I put that there like that. Should be able to see now that that'll fit in there like that. So I've got a bit of cleaning up to do with that little bit there that I'm not happy with. I break the corners on it, and basically that, like the sharper edge, just there. I'll just take a bit out of that so it looks a bit nicer. But basically what I ended up doing was, because the bulkheads are not flat in the car, I ended up tack the bottom and I just pulled it a little bit because it was pushing the pots too close basically onto here. So we've notched a bit out of it, but so tilted the plate so it's slightly upright. It gets the cylinders more upright as well, because they're only designed to work at a certain angle. You can't put them in at whatever angle you want. There is a recommended amount. I seem to think it's 5 degrees or something along them lines, but it's all on. If you go on the AP website and download the the technical drawing for it, it's listed on there. So yeah, that's it. I've just got the pedal box on the other side now to make, which matches up. So when I fitted it, the brake pedal's bang on centre of here, and then it'll be a bias bar that goes through the original pedal. So we'll get that tigged in, and the other plate on the other side, and we'll get it all bolted together. All right. So you can just see the second piece there. So that's basically, I've adapted the pedal box on the inside. I'll go around and you can have a look. So what I've done is standard pedal box, which I've cut the end off, or the front off, and then I've remade all the front. See it under there, look. So that's all been remade. All I've got left to do is there's a bush that goes in here for the bias bar. So basically that's front and rear master cylinder will bolt into there. And then the pedal, obviously, it needs to go slightly further that way because it's not got any of the other stuff like the clutch pedal or accelerator or whatever you want. It's slightly further over this way, but it does line through when it's on pretty much in the centre of the 2 cylinders. So I'll take it off and then we can have a look at it and you can see what I've done to adapt the pedal to fit. Right, there we go. So that's out. So that's basically the other the pedal box that I've adapted to fit. Obviously I've welded and made all this fit. So that same angle as the bulkhead. So what we've basically got then is the 2 cylinders which come through here like that, and they'll fit obviously the other side of the bulkhead, and they come through there, and then there's a bush that I need to weld on the other side, on the halfway up the pedal. That's for the bias bar, and then these ends here screw into the bias bar. So yeah, another probably quite a big job, to be fair, done and finished. Not the easiest thing to make up, but yeah, that's it. Standard pedal box converted to take a front and rear master cylinder and no brake servo. So there we go, another job out the way and ticked off the list.
Right guys, it's Thursday morning and I'm going to do some of the technical stuff today while Steve does the easy bits on this. You know, he claims it's tough work, but I don't know. Anyway, I'm going to cut this bonnet out to fit some vents in it, and the reason we're doing that is obviously the rising cost of these panels now is so much that a bonnet now is 1,500 quid, and you can't justify 1,500 quid obviously for a race car with the high risk of it getting damaged. So what we do, we get a standard Sierra bonnet, a rust-free one, hopefully as dent-free as you can get, and then I have a template, so we mark out where the vents want to be, and then we cut the holes out. We're leaving a flange on. If Steve brings the camera closer, you'll see a better idea of what we do. So I've already marked out where the vents want to be and the size of the hole with a template that we've made. And then what I've got it somewhere. I'm going to go and find it. I've got a template that allows me to leave a little bit of metal in like that. And what we do, we leave that in the bonnet. So we basically cut that out, but don't cut that out. That then gets folded, 2 holes drilled in it. and that's how once it's folded, the vents slot in, and the vents go in from the back. So there'll be one there and one roughly there like that for the vents. So we'll put a time lapse on it, and we'll let you watch making a mess of this bonnet. Keep watching. Perfect. Right guys, that's the bonnet finished. Happy with results. Bit fiddly of a job really, but we're happy how it's turned out. So now obviously this will just go, get a nice few coats of glossy black with rest at car when that goes. So that's me done. On to the next little job. Right guys, it's come to end of another week already, Friday evening. Been a short week for us this week due to obviously the NEC last weekend. So we've actually only really done 3 days this week. I've done the bonnet that you've seen earlier in the video. So what we'll do is quickly show you what Steve's done this week.
Yeah, so as Paul mentioned, it's been a short week, so I ain't had 5 days on the car like what I wanted. But what I have managed to get done is, as you've already seen, bulkhead plate went in. That went in probably Wednesday or Thursday, I think it was. And then what I started then doing is basically closing in around the cage. So what we do that for is basically if there's a fire under the engine bay, it's not going to end up going through and into the car. So they all get closed off. So that's basically what I've been on with today, and also the gussets. So if I just climb in there, I've put all these in. So I dimple dyed them. I didn't actually film any of that, but put these in, welded them up all the way around, and then again closing up bulkhead. So there's all that for us to clean up next week. Pedals are in, so we'll build up the pedal box. We've still got a clutch stop to put on the floor that we can adjust. Back wheel arches to weld up where we drilled the spot welds out, and some engine mounts to make, and then that's us about ready for paint shop, I think.
I think we're far off, mate, are we really?
That looks alright, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's good. We're pleased with getting there. We reckon another maybe 2 or 3 days on it, just cleaning up and finishing off. I said we've got to put the engine and gearbox in to locate the engine mountings, what Steve will fabricate.
So we're gonna come off here, aren't we, off the subframe?
Yeah.
So that if obviously we have to change engine or whatever, we can drop subframe out as well.
That's it.
One go.
That's it. So thanks again for watching this video. Please like and subscribe if you like what you see. And we'll do another one next week, finishing off hopefully the last remaining few jobs on the shell. Thanks again.